It's time now to go beyond the headlines. And for the next 2 hours, go where every sports fan wants to go. Behind the scenes and into the practice facilities, locker rooms, coaches' offices, and press boxes to get the info before anyone else. This is the ESPN 1320 Insiders.
You're not going to make me do it, y'all. The Chatty House, the sophomore class, is trying to get us to say naughty things.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Not happening.
Nope.
We're too smart for you guys. He's James. I'm Kyle. We're the Insiders. It is Friday, February 28th, the last day of February. No Kings today, but there was a ton of hoop last night, and it was a ton of fun, and we will dive into that. Thank you, everybody listening on the radio, everybody on the free Odyssey app. Thank you. If you're listening to the James Ham and Kyle Madsen show, wherever you get your podcast, that's the podcast version of this show. Hello, and hope the future is going well. And everybody in the Chatty House, well, most people in the Chatty House at youtube.com/ESPN1320 and twitch.tv/ESPN1320. Appreciate y'all, most of y'all as well. I got off to the worst start that you can get to in a day.
Today?
My alarm went off at 5:15 a.m.
Okay.
It's Friday. My alarm went off at 5:15 a.m., which it normally does. It used to go off at 5, but I ended up pushing my out of bed, like feet on the floor time to 5:45 anyway, so I've just pushed back my alarms. Anyways, doesn't matter. And my first reaction was, oops, I forgot to turn my alarm off. It's Saturday.
Oh, no.
So I hit my alarm, and I get all cozy, and then I'm like, oh, wait. Is it Saturday? What did I do yesterday? Yesterday was Friday. And I tried talking myself into it being Saturday. In no world is it Saturday. And so I laid there for half an hour, begrudging the fact that it is not, in fact, Saturday, and I can't just go back to sleep. Luckily, I like my job very much, so it's not that hard to get out of bed and come to work. Plus, it's a coffee day. I picked up some Dutch Bros on the way in. That's always a fun little treat on a Friday.
Okay.
So it ended up being okay. Vibes are up, but man, worst way to start a Friday is thinking it's Saturday.
I stopped knowing really what day of the week it was a couple of years ago. Like when you cover a basketball team, it doesn't matter what day of the week you think it is. It's either a day that you're going to a game or today you're going to a practice or whatever. You just lose track of all days. Now, we clearly have a Monday through Friday job that we do here on the radio, but I just kind of know that I've got to get up, and there hasn't been 5 days in the week yet, so I got to keep going. And then sometimes I figure out what day of the week it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't just look at your phone?
No.
It says it right there, right at the top on the iPhone.
It does. Sometimes I just
Friday, February 28th, 10:03.
Like I look at my phone right before we start. I'm like, oh, it's Thursday. It's Kyle's favorite day of the week.
Hell yeah. Damn right it is. Or you can just look at the top of the rundown.
There it is.
Throw it there too.
Sometimes we do. I notice that when we change it.
All right. So we're just going to run through some of the basketball games that happened last night.
That's a good idea.
Because there is so much that went on. First of all, Steph Curry still got it, dog. 56 of Golden State's 121 points. He goes 16 of 25 from the field, 12 of 19 from three. His third career game with 12 made threes, which is just bonkers. I was going through this last night as he continued his flurry that dragged Golden State across the finish line against Orlando. They wanted to lose that game so bad. They did everything they could to lose that game, and Steph said, nope. That was crazy.
He's one of those players that you just, when he's gone, we will miss him so much.
Dude, 100%.
When he is no longer playing, you're going to be like, oh, man. Because he just has these moments of just pure, greatness.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what team you're cheering for. You just sit back and go, I can't believe he just did that.
I keep waiting for the last one. And I keep going, okay, well, all right, he had a huge game. It's probably the last one of those we'll get.
Yeah, we might not see that again from him. No.
We may now 12 threes is a lot. We may not see that again. That might be his last 12 3-point game. 12 game with 12 3-pointers.
He'll probably do it this weekend again. And we'll be like, oh, well, maybe he won't ever do it again. No, probably he will keep doing it. That's just who he is. Yeah, he has a way of breaking your spirit like no other player that I can remember.
It just that so Golden State was not good last night.
Mm-mm.
They were down 14 at the half because they went down 17, and then Steph hit a 50-footer at the first half buzzer to get it to 14. Which, if you're the Magic, why are you not guarding him 50 feet from the basket? I know that sounds insane and it sounds ridiculous, but we have 10 years of this now. You know that you need to guard him 94 feet.
Oh, yeah. It's just, him and Dame, you have to pick up like so far. Like as soon as the ball's inbound, you should have somebody just running at them and getting the ball out of their hands.
Yeah, just get a hand up, do something. He gets to just walk into a 50-footer. That's insane. That's like probably a 30% shot for him.
Yeah,
50
at a
feet,
minimum.
Uncontested?
Yeah, I would say it's probably 35.
Cash. It's crazy. He has 45 career games with 9 or more made threes. Second all time is Dame Lillard with 14. We moved to 10. Career games with 10 or more made threes. Steph has 26. Second place is Klay Thompson at 9.
Oh my gosh.
11 or more made threes. Steph has done that 14 times. Klay and Dame have each done it 4 times. Nobody else has done it more than twice. And then we go to 12 where it's Steph and Klay, 3 each. Nobody else has more than one. Keegan Murray, one of those ones though. So Zach LaVine, by the way.
There we go.
Zach LaVine and Keegan Murray both have games with 12 or more made threes.
Well, they're going to need to if they're going to get up to Doug Christie's 50 3-point attempts in a game, which is what he's now asking for.
50?
Yeah.
That feels like a lot.
It does feel like a lot. I think his number is lower than that, but he's like, hey, they're kind of coasting in at like 35, 37. Like, no, I need to bump the number up.
I see. Gotcha. It's like when I say I want to leave the house by 6, but really it's like 7 would do.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say 6 because we're going to leave at 6:45.
Okay.
And if I say I want to leave by 7, it means we're leaving by like 7:30.
So what time do you leave every day?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was just picking a time.
Oh, a day.
I leave between like 6:15 and 6:30.
Okay, that's
depending on how long it takes me to make my coffee.
Yeah, I'm not awake by then.
That's fine. I enjoy the commute. I don't mind it. There's a bunch of stuff aside from Steph from that Warriors Magic game here. I think Golden State is a really good example when we talk about the Kings and we start talking about ceiling and you and I are very much on the record of not quite seeing the vision with this group of players.
For Sacramento.
Yes. But on the other hand, Golden State lost to the Lakers on February 6th. That's 22 days ago, so 3 weeks ago. They lost to the Lakers on February 6th. That put them a game under 500, and they were tied for 10th with the Kings. Since then, they've won 6 of 7. They're now in 7th place and a half game back at the 6th seed. By winning 6 out of 7, that's a nice little run, but that's not 10 in a row.
No, I mean, at the same time, the Kings won 5 out of 7.
Right. So that's where when we're talking about the Kings, and this is something I kind of have to remember, and I think I forget it sometimes because I think I zoom out too much and I start looking at, but this group of players, like, what does it look like next year? Or what does it look like in 2 years? But if we're focusing on this year, it's like, man, if they win 4 out of their next 5, which is on the table, they win 4 out of the next 5, we're talking 6th seed again. Is that easy in the West right now? I shouldn't say easy, but it's that quick in the West right now.
It's simple if you look at just the way that the stats work.
Yeah.
But when you factor in travel, when you factor in strength of schedule and everything else, it's just not that simple. Like the Kings need to be playing exceptional basketball in order to do that.
No doubt.
And so far, they haven't played exceptional basketball with this group of players outside of one game against one of the worst teams in the league, right? Who is missing players. So you're sitting here waiting for that moment where you feel secure in who the Kings are and what they can achieve. Where I all of a sudden the Warriors have been able to do that, but again, like they're going to have to play teams. They're going to have to,
for sure.
Like, what do they look like against some of the upper echelon teams? And sometimes, like we've talked about this. So I thought a couple of years ago that the Kings were going to fold in the second half of the season. I thought they might go 500 in the final 25 games
in the 22-23 year.
Yeah. And instead they end up going like 20-4, 21 and 4, something like that.
Yeah,
it was like something
awesome.
crazy after the break. That's not something you can expect from a team, but I think it's possible with the way that the Warriors are built, the way that they're seasoned, and they've at least a lot of the pieces have been together for a while. They at least have a better opportunity to have that stretch. But it doesn't mean the Kings can't.
So a couple of things. So I want to get to, we're going to do a draft of players 25 and under.
Okay.
Based off of an outrageous Paolo Banchero performance last night. And we'll get to that for sure. But the other thing that jumps out to me is how the Kings are using the G League. The Warriors did that same thing with Quentin Post. Quentin Post is their rookie center. Didn't play a lick in the NBA up until like earlier this month. Maybe it was last month. I don't know. I lose track of time. But basically, he's in the G League, and they developed him in the G League, and then they brought him up, and they started putting him in the rotation here and there. They started him for a minute, but now he's just like a really key rotation piece for them. He scored 18 points last night. He was their second highest scorer. And I kind of wonder in the NBA if this is how teams are going to start utilizing the G League. Where it's not just this thing where, yeah, just put the player down there if we don't know what to do with them, and we'll try and figure it out later. Because I think the Kings have done this with Keon Ellis. I think they're doing it with Isaac Jones. I think they're trying to do it now with Devin Carter, where you can use it as a legitimate developmental league. Carter might be the best player on the Stockton Kings by a lot, and he might average 29 or 30 a night. But just getting to play, getting to be within a system, getting to develop and work on certain things that are going to help him when he steps back on an NBA floor for regular minutes. I don't think enough teams are doing that.
Yeah, so for me, when I look at the G League, I think that, for the longest time, teams have used it incorrectly. And I've had this conversation plenty of times. But the way that I look at the G League is there's an opportunity there. And not every situation is the same. Like, so for me, Devin Carter's situation is very unique. I mean, the dude missed, he couldn't play basketball for 7 months because he underwent shoulder surgery. He needs to be down there just getting reps. And it doesn't matter what he scores, what his rebound numbers are. Like, you have to look at those numbers as completely fictitious and elevated numbers, because what his role is there and what his role is in Sacramento will never be the same. So they're just not going to get him up to speed and, oh my gosh, he's averaging 28 points a game. Let's just throw him in as a starting point guard and he's going to hopefully average 27, 28 points per game in the pros. That's not the way it works, right? So I think using it as a rehab assignment is basically what they're doing. It's like when a player comes back from injury in Major League Baseball, sometimes they send him down to Sutter Health Park to play for the Giants for a couple of games, and just to get some swings and get some, run the bases, play in the outfield a little bit, right? So I think that that's more of what we're seeing from Devin at this point. He also needs to grow as a player, but I think that's secondary to, look, man, you've got to get in game shape. You've got to get in, because you can still see him 3 minutes into a Kings game with his hands on his knees, breathing heavy and trying to catch his wind. Now, when it comes to a guy like Isaac Jones, this is a perfect place for Isaac Jones. Go get as many minutes as possible. But I also think the G League, they really need to find specific types of players, because what you don't get from the G League is a guy who scores 30 points a game for the G League and then goes up to the big club and all of a sudden he's a 30-point per game.
Right.
You're not going to find stars. You're going to find role players. And if you can refine role players at the G League level, you can start creating almost like a pipeline for yourself of these types of players that are so incredibly valuable. And I think there are specific types of role players, the 3-and-D wing, the 3-and-D, 2-guard, the crazy undersized 4 or 5. I think Houston is the example, during when Monty McNair was there, that they used to just create these guys, the Daniel Houses of the world, the Tariq Black, Montrezl Harrell, these guys that play a specific type of role, but they're sort of underutilized at the NBA level. You need to get their confidence up, and then when you bring them up, they have a specific role. Like, this is what I need you to do. I need you to do exactly what you did in the G League. Just go be really good at your role, and you can find success and stick. And I still don't think the G League does enough of that. It's still way too much of, hey, let's take a flyer on this guy and see what he looks like.
Yeah. Like, you can be taking a flyer for sure. In fact, that's what undrafted guys, Isaiah Crawford, Isaac Jones, that's a flyer just by definition, because if they don't work out, it's whatever. But that doesn't mean you just put them down there and go, hey, what do they look like? You can take Isaac Jones and say, hey, you maximizing what you are as a player, you can fit into the NBA in this way.
Yep.
So go do these things at the G League and get really, really awesome at these things. Isaiah Crawford, same thing. We envision you doing this. Go be really good at those things. Not just, go play and we'll see if you're any good, and then we'll try and fit you in at the NBA and see what you do there. Like, no, have an idea. Have a thought. Have a vision.
Totally. And on top of that, Kyle, what you don't want to do is send a guy down there and say, hey, go get us 25 a game.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Right. Isaiah Crawford is a perfect example. Go be the best version. They found a guy with the body frame that they want, long arms, huge leaper, huge leaper at 6'6", built like Lou Dort. Like, go down there and develop that guy into that type of player that you need. And not all of them are going to work out. And then the other way that I think the G League can be used is if a guy has a specific deficiency in his game, send him down. And that's where I think the point guard or the guard that you need him to be able to bring the ball up a little bit more. I think the Kings have done a good job of that with Keon, with Colby Jones, with like some of the other players that they bring in. It's like even Devin Carter right now, like, go down there, be a primary ball handler, understand what it is to be that player, help your teammates get better. And, maybe we can hone a skill that you don't have it's not an NBA level skill today. Maybe it can be a year from now. And that's another way in which I think they can use the G League effectively.
We have a ton more basketball to talk about. A's manager, Sacramento A's manager. We can't call him that while he's on here because that's like not what they want, but we're calling him the Sacramento A's manager, Mark Kotze. He's going to join us at 10:45. We'll find out what's happening down there in spring training. He's jumping on with us like an hour and 15 minutes before they play. So salute to Mark Kotze for squeezing us into his schedule. And then it sounds like the 49ers might be about to trade Deebo Samuel. We'll tell you the latest on that next. He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. It's ESPN 1320, and that is Sacramento Sports Leader.
When do you have your live read?
Not till the end of the show.
Oh, okay, cool. What's going on, everybody? Hey, thanks, Spencer. We had a lively discussion last night on the King's Beat podcast. I'd say Sean and I disagreed on a couple of big points. But they put a patch, Boombox Benny. They put a patch on there. So,
yeah, it's big time.
So Steven Castaneda, you're doing your build up to the Oscars. I saw it. Like, you watched Sonora last night. Is that what you said, Steven? Sorry.
No, that's good. I heard that's going to win Best Picture. Yeah, Steph is firmly on the Bay Area Mount Rushmore. It's not even close.
Yeah. I don't know, like him, Jerry Rice, and Joe Montana.
Yeah, I don't. Steph, because you got to fit Mays in there.
Oh yeah.
Or Bonds.
Or Bonds.
Or Bonds.
I don't think you can get away from Montana and Rice though.
The thing with Bonds and Mays, I tend to. I'm in the Barry Bonds is like the greatest baseball player ever guy.
Okay.
I'm in that camp. So I don't know. It's tough because Montana and Rice were responsible for a bunch of championships. Steph is responsible for a bunch of championships. Mays is responsible for baseball's popularity in the Bay Area.
How many years
tough.
did
Steph's on it though, for sure.
Yeah, I think
and then
Steph's
the other
on
three spots are going to be like, if you're not a baseball fan, you're going to be like Montana, Rice, Steph, and then you can throw Bonds on there if you want.
Yeah, because someone's brought up Ricky, and Ricky left and came back so many times. I don't know that
Ricky's a legend for sure. If he's on your personal one, I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think a Raider makes it. Do you have to put Buster Posey in there? Bill Walsh doesn't make it because this is a player's thing for me. Yeah, Draymond just on the outside. Just on the outside looking in.
Yeah, there's no way Buster Posey's on the Mount Rushmore.
But he did, like Michael Gallery says, he won 3 titles.
Yeah, but if you want to, I mean, there were other people on that team that won 3 titles, weren't there?
Yeah, but Buster was that dude. Buster was the dude.
Yeah.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
He's James. I'm Kyle. We're rocking with you until noon. A's manager Mark Kotsay is going to join us at 10:45. If you'd like to join the program, call the Elk Grove Kia Talk line, 916-909-1320, 916-909-1320. If you'd like to join the show, I want to play a fun game. Actually, before we get to the fun game, we have some news. According to Jordan Schultz, Ian Rappaport's number one hater and
the son of Howard Schultz,
son of former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz. He's now an NFL insider for Fox. The Commanders and Texans have had significant interest in trading for 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel, with talks progressing in recent days. Other teams, including the Steelers and Broncos, have also checked in, but Houston and Washington are believed to be the most aggressive. This is interesting, not that Deebo is being shopped, because John Lynch confirmed that they would be granting his wish to no longer be on the 49ers. Not really to no longer be on the 49ers, but the Niners don't want to pay him. So he's trying to get another bite at the apple and hoping to do so via trade. The reason this is interesting is that there's 2 teams in that report with significant interest, because that's how a trade in this situation happens.
Yeah, you need him to be a popular name,
right?
And you need teams to want to trade for him.
Because if not, if it was the Commanders only, the Commanders are going to go, okay, well, you're going to cut him.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just wait for that and then just sign him and not have to give you draft capital. So the fact that there are 2 teams in this report who are very interested in acquiring Deebo Samuel, that's really good news for the 49ers. Because that means one of those teams is not going to wait for him to get cut because they want him. So they're going to give up draft capital to get him.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping that there's going to be some sort of draft capital that brings you something for him. We now have more breaking news. The Los Angeles Rams have reached an agreement with Matthew Stafford on a restructured deal that keeps him in Los Angeles.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's per Adam Schefter. And actually, there might have been someone who beat him to that note, but yeah, that's a big deal as well. Like, things are happening. What's going on in the NFL, Kyle?
The scuttlebutt coming out of the combine, the first couple of days at least, was that Matthew Stafford was gone.
Yeah.
Is he going to the Raiders or the Giants? And now all of a sudden he's staying in LA, which is the right move. LA was good.
Yeah.
They nearly beat Philly in Philly. And Matthew Stafford was making peanuts compared to the rest of the quarterback market. So he said, hey, we almost beat Philly last year in Philly. We had a super young roster that's only getting better. I would like to be compensated for making this team a Super Bowl contender, or at least a playoff team. And apparently now they have agreed to a deal that bumps up his compensation, which they can do because like their entire defense is on rookie contracts.
That's it's kind of like the Brock Purdy thing, right? Just in reverse.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think this is a major domino, right? Because the Raiders and Giants were super interested.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's off the market, and those guys are going to have to figure out what that means for them, like pre-draft,
Mm-hmm.
whether that means that they're going to try to move up in the draft to select a different quarterback. I don't know. I could see, I could see the Raiders being more aggressive now that Stafford's off the board.
All right. We'll continue following any more major news that comes out of the NFL Combine, but Matthew Stafford staying with the Rams. I was really hopeful he was going to get traded because the Rams weren't going to be nearly as good with whoever they brought in instead.
No.
Especially if it was Jimmy G.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at it and I'm going, man, the Niners get Purdy signed, and assuming he doesn't suck, which what we saw last year might just be who he is, but they might be in a really good spot, like quarterback wise, in compared the NFC West.
Compared to the other teams.
But alas, the Rams are going to be really good again.
Yeah, I wonder what all this means for Sam Darnold. Because he's the guy that
he's going to get paid still.
He's going to get paid by somebody.
Yeah, he's going to get a deal probably in the $40 million range.
Yeah, that's crazy.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
$40 million per.
I think he'd fit with the Raiders for sure. I think he would have fit really well with the Rams.
The Raiders are so fascinating to me, man. I begrudgingly like Pete Carroll. I want to hate Pete Carroll so bad, and I just can't.
Okay.
And we've been talking about trying to get an adult in the room for a while. And I think just what they did with Spytek and with Carroll, just, man, I think they're doing a lot of the right things. If you get a player like Sam Darnold and surround him with the right pieces, we've already seen he can
put up numbers
and help you win.
Yeah, whether he can win you a Super Bowl or something, we have no idea. Probably
the bar is not there for Vegas just yet.
No, but that's like so far off in the distance. Yeah,
man. Excited to see what the Raiders do this offseason. Love what they've done so far. But again, we'll get to more of that. Free agency in the NFL opens in 2 weeks. That's right around the corner. And then 6 weeks after that, we get the draft. So we'll have a ton of NFL stuff happening here soon.
I do like that the NFL does. I think it does work better to have free agency first and then the draft.
I agree.
I think it takes pressure off whoever's going to be drafted.
Yeah, and it just makes it easier going into the draft knowing you can maximize what those players can do for you.
Yeah, I think it might even like shift, from a need-based draft. I mean, from a talent-based draft solely to a need-based draft, especially once you get outside of like the top 5.
Yeah,
interesting.
Sure. All right, let's shift gears back to the NBA. There's a ton of NBA action last night that helped and hurt the Kings, who were not active. Something that jumped out to me last night, though, Paolo Banchero, man. I admittedly don't watch a ton of Orlando Magic basketball. Forgive me. But every time I watch them, Paolo cooks. And he had last night 41, 6, and 5 with 2 steals. He was 16 of 27 from the field and 4 of 10 from 3. He was awesome. And you see where, man, he might wind up being one of the 5 best dudes in the NBA at some point. So
I think he's going to be one of the top 5 scorers in the league. But go ahead.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, in general, I like what Orlando's building. But I was sitting there and I'm thinking, man, how many dudes would I take over Paolo who are 25 and under? So I did the legwork today of putting together a list of all the players in the NBA, not all the players, all the consequential players, or at least moderately consequential players who are 25 and under.
Okay.
Are you taking, here's, how do I want to do this? Let's just do a draft. You can pick first. Who are you taking first of this list of players who's 25 and under? And if you'd like to participate in the chatty house, please do.
Okay. This is super tough.
Is it?
It's
First
super.
pick is a layup for me.
Okay. What are you doing? Like Amen Thompson? No.
No.
Okay.
Wemby, dog.
Oh, Wemby, of course. Yeah, Wemby's number one for sure.
Yes.
That's easy. But once you get after that, like
it's really tough, dude.
Yeah, because I mean,
you can make here's okay. So it's my pick now.
Okay.
Here's all the players that I like. You could, I think, make a case for. Just in the West, Chet Holmgren, I think you can make a case. Anthony Edwards, you can certainly make a case. In fact, he might wind up being my pick. Ja Morant is still 25, so he hits the threshold. Amen Thompson has looked incredible.
Okay.
Let's see who else is in here. Paolo Banchero in the East.
Zion.
Okay, if you want to throw Zion in there, that's fine. Scotty Barnes, face of the NBA.
Yep. Tyrese
Evan
Maxey.
Mobley.
I love Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey. Yep.
Cade Cunningham.
Starting a team. Cade has looked outstanding for my Pistons this year.
Yeah.
It gets a lot more difficult when you remove Wemby out of the conversation.
Yeah. So that's crazy.
Because,
I don't know because
I don't either.
Yeah. If I'm building a team, it's Wemby for sure.
I don't. 6 weeks ago, I wouldn't have even considered Amen Thompson, and now I feel like he needs to be the guy. It's because he's looked so freaking good over the last month and a half.
Yeah, you're considering him to be like a player that could take one of those gigantic leaps.
I think I might be going Paolo though.
Okay, I think Ant-Man would probably be the best decision, but Paolo is probably like if you're just looking at pure upside.
You're absolutely right. I'm going Anthony Edwards my pick. You're absolutely right.
Okay, if you're going Anthony Edwards, then I'm going Paolo.
So Paolo's number 3 then, if we're doing it this way.
Yep.
Anthony Edwards and Victor Wembanyama are the 2 players that you would take over Paolo Banchero right now.
Yes.
25 and under.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's probably a Paolo Wemby front court's so sick.
Oh, that would be crazy.
My second pick. I need somebody who can take some of the playmaking onus off of Ant, because Ant's not really a playmaker yet.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go Cade. I think Cade's my second pick.
Okay.
I think Cade might be that guy.
I would go
in a world where the Pistons are finals contenders.
Mm-hmm.
Cade is an MVP candidate.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the direction I'm going.
At this pick, I would probably go with the third pick. I would go Amen Thompson.
Yeah, your team's so good. I'm already jealous.
Yeah, I mean, like there are some very good options at this point, but
that's just such a good.
It's the ceiling.
Yeah,
and, if you've already got guys that are going to be really good, then you can take a swing for a ceiling player.
Yeah, man. Do you want to just go Asar Thompson and hope that he can just be Amen? So you've got Paolo, Wemby, and Amen Thompson. I've got Ant and Cade Cunningham. I think I'm going to go Chet 3. Okay. I'm a little worried about his injury history.
Okay.
It's not been great, but I think if you've got Chet running around, he doesn't need the ball a lot offensively. He's a stretch 5. And defensively, he is as good as anybody in the league not named Victor Wembanyama. So I'm going to go with Chet.
Okay. I would. I mean, that's a really good pick. Man, I'm trying to decide between 2 players, and I'm going to go.
You need a ball handler, dude.
Yeah, I do. That's why I was thinking I'm going to go Tyrese Maxey.
That's the move.
Yeah, I think Tyrese Maxey would be like with those guys a perfect fit.
Oh,
I so really really like Tyrese Maxey as a player.
Me too, man. I think he's just the fact that he's kind of managed to continue getting better in the environment that he's in speaks volumes about him as a player. That what he's been able to do in the chaos of Joel Embiid being in and out of the lineup, and then they lose all their guys and they bring in Paul George. I'm just really, really impressed with the fact that Tyrese Maxey continues looking like an all-star / all-NBA point guard.
Yeah, he gives you a chance to win every game.
Yep. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Tyrese Halliburton has not been picked.
Nope.
Jalen Duren has not been picked. I really like Jalen Duren.
Evan Mobley hasn't been picked.
That might have to be. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do because Evan Mobley can play alongside Chet.
Okay. This isn't tough. So I'm going.
Do I want? Yeah, no, I don't want Triple J. I don't want Triple J. Get him out of my face.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
I'm going Jalen Williams as my shooting guard.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, one of the better two-way players. He's young, can grow into a role. Look at that. I have length and athleticism on my team, Kyle.
All right. So your backcourt is Jalen Williams and Tyrese Maxey with a front court of Paolo, Jalen Williams, and Wemby. No, I'm sorry.
Paolo, Amen Thompson, and Wemby. And I've got Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams and Tyrese Maxey are your backcourt.
Yep.
Pretty good team. I've got Ant and Cade in the backcourt with Chet Holmgren and Evan Mobley in the front court. I need a little shooting. Man, this is tough. If I'm not even taking like the player I think is best now. I just need some shooting. Boy, not a lot of options here.
Okay. I'm excited to see where you go here.
So here's kind of what I'm thinking. I like Franz Wagner a lot. Franz Wagner is an outstanding player. At really good size, especially really good getting downhill. Not quite there as a shooter yet, but just a really effective NBA player. I'm looking at Brandon Miller. I really like Brandon Miller a lot. He's out for the year right now, but I like Brandon Miller quite a bit. Man. Keegan Murray is honestly probably the best shooter left on this list.
Probably. Yep.
But I don't think I'm going to go Keegan. Although I guess he'd no. He'd fit. Be a really good fit. Who are you who would you go with?
At this point?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have my starting five, so
no, I know who. If you're looking at a backcourt of Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham, with Chet Holmgren and Evan Mobley in the front court.
Man,
I don't need a lot of playmaking.
Zion's intriguing.
Is he?
And Franz Wagner's intriguing.
I think I might. Franz is the name I keep coming back to, just for it's best player.
Okay.
So I think Franz is now the is the direction I'm going to put in the front court with Chet and Evan Mobley.
Okay.
I don't love my spacing.
I'm not going to worry about my spacing yet.
Okay, great.
I'm going to go. Whew. Dang, I'm going Scotty Barnes.
Oh, face of the NBA?
Yeah, he is a face of the NBA, and I need a defensive. I need a defensive guy who can play the 1, the 3, the 4.
Okay,
and sometimes the 5.
I like that. Ja Morant is my next pick.
Oh, wow.
The fact that you know what's crazy about Ja is if we had done this exercise 2 years ago, he might have gone first.
Probably.
He was on an ascension that had him looking like he was going to be one of the 5 best players in the league.
No, I totally agree. Yeah.
And then injuries set in, his off the court stuff set in, and he's still really good. Memphis is really good in large part because of Ja. But it's just this is 12 picks in, and we're just now getting to Ja Morant.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because for me, I'm taking Maxey over Ja because he plays.
Sure. That's fine.
I mean, he's healthy most of the time. And all right, my next pick, I'm taking Dyson Daniels.
This is your last one.
Okay, Dyson Daniels.
Okay. Just defensive minded. You can tell that you watch a lot of Kings.
Why
A
would
lot of
that be?
defense, a lot of size, a lot of athleticism.
Trey Murphy would probably be a really good pick here. Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton would be a really good pick here.
Yeah, Halliburton is the player I'm looking at. He's been a lot better lately. I keep defaulting to my Pistons. I really love Jalen Duren. Asar Thompson, not quite as good as Amen Thompson, but still really, really good.
Yep.
See him put Jason Tatum on skates the other night. You got guys like Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller is awesome.
Yeah,
Brandon Miller is
he's
so
not healthy.
freaking good.
I know. It's just not healthy.
If he was healthy, though,
No, that's
like
true.
we're in fantasy land right now.
Okay.
I think I have to go Brandon Miller.
Okay.
I think.
I'm intrigued by that. I'll still take my team over your team, but
Yeah, I think I would too. No, I feel good. Some of the names that didn't get picked, Tyrese Halliburton, it jumps out for sure. LaMelo didn't get picked.
no. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players on this list still.
There are so many.
Jaren Jackson.
Yeah,
didn't
get Jaren Jackson out of my face.
He's an all-star.
I don't want Jaren Jackson anywhere near my team. Jabari Smith Jr. didn't get picked.
Oh.
You only have one Rocket? Is that right?
Yeah, we didn't even go with Şengün.
Ooh, All-Star Operation Şengün.
Yeah, there you go. Like 22-year-old all-star.
Yeah, the league's in a good spot, man. Really good spot. All right, we got to step aside. Mark Kotze going to join us next. A's manager from Arizona. Can't wait to chat with him, find out what's going on with your Sacramento A's. The manager, Mark Kotze, going to tell us next. He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're the Insiders, sponsored by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320 and Sacramento Sports Center. I'm going to go in there and pick up the phone when he calls.
Okay, cool. Oh, Jalen Johnson wasn't on this list, but Jalen Johnson's hurt a lot. You guys don't like Scotty Barnes?
Who?
Someone said my Scotty Barnes pick was a miss. Come on, man.
Barnes?
The guy can play the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. Man, he's having a good season. Scotty Barnes is averaging 19.9 points, 7.8 rebounds, 6.2 assists. Not a good shooter, but he's also a defensive, like, he's a stud. Yeah. Let's see. What's going on in the chat? Anything happening? NBA Guru Zach. If DeMar is traded in the offseason, do you get a first round pick? I don't think that's like the Kings aren't in a mode where they're trading for first round picks. So that's where I would say no. I would say that if you're trading DeMar this offseason, you would trade DeMar with a first round pick or 2 first round picks to get something that you think is better, whether that means you're younger or whatever, like someone that fits what you're trying to do. Would I trade Zion for Scotty Barnes in 2K? I mean, in 2K, like you can turn off injuries, so Zion's fine. But outside of that, I don't think so. Like in real life, it's just different. Why are people so obsessed with Jonathan Isaac? I mean, seriously.
Thumbs down for me.
I mean, I keep going to Jonathan Isaac's like basketball reference page to see if I'm missing something. But
can you do me a huge favor? Can you come do this here? And when this spot starts playing, can you give me a heads up? Like just direct digital. It's the last spot in the set. Okay. When that starts playing, I just need you to give me a 1 so I can come back in here. Oh, no, there it is. Perfect. You don't have to do this anymore. We're good.
Go back?
Yep. Okay, we're good.
No, nothing. You don't look panicked. Good. You're good.
That's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, dude. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I just don't get the Jonathan Isaac love. Like, why are you trading for a dude who is averaging 16 minutes a game? Certainly not for DeMar. Sal, I'm going to ask Kotze this in just a minute.
Yeah, it's right now. All right, 1 minute.
1 minute. This is an interesting question. I think it really does depend on who's running the franchise. Like, that's kind of where I would be. Like, we have to know who's making these decisions. And like, what does Domas think? That's actually part of the equation as well.
All right.
Probably, Mark.
10 seconds.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
And James Ham, Kyle Madsen, and manager of the Athletics, it's Mark Kotze joining us now from Arizona. Mark, thanks so much for hopping on, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm actually just grabbing some lunch before our game. Just got off the field from pregame workout and, just hanging out with you guys now.
Beautiful. What are we having for lunch?
Some tuna with salad, like lettuce, little carrots, little mushrooms, trying to stay healthy.
Delicious. I love that for you, man. That's awesome.
It sounds like you, staying healthy.
So you're down there in spring training. Congratulations on your extension. Going to keep you with the A's through at least the 2028 season. We talked with some of the guys at the Kimpton Sawyer when you were down here, and man, they are all big fans of yours. So congratulations on that extension, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. As you all know, I mean, these jobs, there's only 30 of them, and to be privileged enough to be in this seat and to lead this group, get an opportunity to lead this group beyond this year and into Vegas. I'm excited about that. I think the group of guys we have here, we've been through some challenging times these last 2 years, but they've obviously come a long way in their development. And, I feel really good about the nucleus that we're going to bring into Sacramento.
Mark, you talk about the nucleus you're bringing into Sacramento. And first of all, you got Rooker signed, which is spectacular. He's been hitting bombs nonstop the last couple of years. And it also looks like you guys are negotiating with Lawrence Butler for a potential long-term deal. How nice is it for you to see this shift in the organization where you're investing in some of these guys and helping you to build a core so you have sort of those stable pieces in place to build around?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Coming into the league, my rookie year, 1998, was my first full season, but I was a part of a group in 97 of veteran players with the World Series championship Marlins. So knowing that it takes a group of young players time to mature, time to develop, that 98 team ended up winning the World Series in 2003. So it was a 5-year journey. But there were a lot of great players. I was traded after the 01 season to San Diego, but the likes of a Derek Lee or a Luis Castillo or, Cliff Floyd, we could go down the list of guys that were a part of the 98 team that ended up being a part of that 03 team. And I think there's a group here, if you're looking at the Lawrence Butler, the Shea Langelier, the JJ Bleday, and obviously with Rook being signed to Vegas or through Vegas, that we can be excited about. And we're hopeful and we have an expectation level now to be better in this division and give ourselves a realistic chance of winning in the future.
The Eels will be playing at Sutter Health Park this season. Their manager, Mark Kotze, joining us now on the Insiders. Mark, what are some of the differences for you? Obviously, you went to so many spring trainings as a player. How is it different as a manager for you?
Yeah, it's way more stressful, believe me.
Oh no.
You gotta. Not only do you have responsibility to the players and to the coaching staff. I mean, you're here, working every day to try to get a vision of what this roster is going to shape up like. And the hours are from 5:30 in the morning till 5 at night once games start, which they have. But it's fun. I don't feel like I come to work. I love what I do. I've been doing this for 28 years at the major league level, as you talked about, as a player for 17 and a half of those 28. So I don't think I've had a job or worked in my life, really.
That's awesome.
That's Mark,
so cool.
That is a good job. When you look at your starting lineup, the guys that are out on the field, we have a good idea who's going to be where and all that stuff. But your starting rotation, some young guys, some veterans that you guys landed this offseason. How is that shaping up? And do you have a good idea of how you're going to walk into this season with your 5-man rotation?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a good idea. Obviously, you never want to, think about it in terms of injury related issues, but you have to be prepared for those. But what I do think has happened here is that we've brought, like you said, some guys in with experience, and that helps the younger guys. It really pushes some guys into roles maybe that they wouldn't get the chance to be in. Over the last 2 seasons, we've had to accelerate the development of some young pitchers, some young arms that we, maybe you could say rushed to the big leagues that weren't ready. But in doing that, they got some experience, and now maybe they're more comfortable, right? So a Severino, a Springs, 2 veteran guys in the rotation now, it allows the younger guys, whether it's JT Ginn, who had 3 or 4 starts at the end of the year, a Brady Basso, who made a couple spot starts for us. It gives them time to develop, but both those young kids have been in the big leagues, so it won't be their first time, going out on the mound and feeling what it's like to have control of a Major League Baseball game. So the depth is something that you always lean on that we haven't had necessarily in the last 2-3 seasons that we're excited about.
Talking with Mark Kotze, talking some baseball here. The season opener, less than a month away. Oh man. I know it's still pretty early in spring training, Mark, but has anybody jumped out to you that maybe I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Like fans should be keeping an eye out for outside of the Langoliers and the Butlers and the Rookers. Yeah,
I mean, you do say it is early. I mean, guys, the most at bats anyone right now currently in camp, I think, is 12. Right, it's CJ Alexander, who is a player that has some big league experience. It's on our 40-man roster. He's a left-handed hitter. He's put together some good at bats. That we're obviously evaluating. He's got a chance to make the roster. Outside of that, like you said, this is a different year. We do have a core group of guys that we feel confident in leaving camp with, which we haven't necessarily had. This camp, or I should say the last 2 camps, have been about opportunity, and now that messaging is a little bit different, right? There's not as much opportunity on this roster currently, but that, again, I use the word depth about the pitching staff, and that's something that we want to look for here on the position player side. But Tyler Soderstrom's a kid that has been up since the end of 23, and then last season he's had some injuries. But I'm excited about Tyler. I think Tyler's really matured as a young man. He's more physical. He's leaned out, and I think he's a player that I'd be excited about, watching his 25 season.
All right, you're listening to Mark Kotze, the manager of the Sacramento A's. Well, not Sacramento A's, the A's. We're just calling them the A's. Just the A's. Mark, you're playing in spring training right now, and that field that you're playing on is going to feel very similar to what you're playing here in Sacramento at Sutter Health Field. Is that a good thing for your guys to kind of get that feel of the spring training feel, but moving it up to the big leagues and at least having some sort of basis to sort of build off what you're going to play in this next coming season?
Well, Sutter Health isn't what we're playing here in Mesa by any means. I mean, the changes that they've made over the off season, if you were in Sutter Health Park last season, you'll walk in and there will be a lot of changes that you will see and recognize. They've brought Sutter Health up to MLB standards. They've added extra lighting. They've changed the batter's eye. They're going to put a new scoreboard into right center. The bullpens are reconstructed. There's actually bathrooms in the bullpens now. The dugout reconstructed. The whole playing surface is brand new. They've dug it up down into the dirt, put new drainage. So, it'll be a different ballpark when you walk in. Now, the stands, the seating capacity, that will be the same. And so, there's 14,000, I think, available, opportunities to be in the ballpark, I guess, 14,500 maybe, which I know opening night sold out. And I think the season seats are sold out, and that's somewhere in the range of 7,000. So I think there's going to be a lot of energy. I love the excitement about the A's being in Sacramento, that Major League Baseball is coming to Sacramento. I think there's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy and excitement about that. And, we are equally as excited to get there and to make this home for the next 3 seasons.
Mark Kotze, manager of the Athletics. Mark, go get to that salad and enjoy the game today, all right?
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks, Mark. Mark Kotze, manager of the A's. I love that guy. I already told you my Mark Kotze story.
No.
I was going to, if we weren't up against it, I was going to relay this to him. But I'll tell you my Mark Kotze story next, because we got to step aside right now. And then we'll dive back into some of the games that helped the Kings, some of the games that hurt the Kings last night, and what we're going to be watching for tonight. Well, the Kings are off once again. They don't play again until Saturday in Houston. He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. Second hour of the Insiders coming up next, sponsored by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320. It's Sacramento Sports Leader. Clear.
My bad. It said Sacramento A's. I did not do that on purpose. What's going on, everybody? We're going to work on having A's players as much as possible this season. A's representation. They'll still be here in Sacramento.
Hey, Will.
What's going on?
I'm not sure you're buying low on Jonathan Isaac, though.
Yeah, he makes like $18 million a year.
Yeah, I don't think he's just available.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he actually makes, I believe it's, does he really make $25 million this year?
Ooh.
Yikes. He makes $25 million this year, but then he's under contract at 15, 14.5, 14.5, and 15 over the next 4 years. And we're talking about a player who has been in the league since the 2017 draft, right? He's the pick after De'Aaron Fox. He's played a total of 256 games. 256. Markelle Fultz, who we all look at and think, oh my gosh, he's missed so many games, and who just sat out and hasn't played the 60 first 55 games of the season, whatever. He's at 237. De'Aaron Fox, a player taken.
Hey, we're coming back. Sorry.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the ESPN 1320 Insiders. Get ready for the most up-to-date sports news and talk with the ESPN 1320 Insiders.
Hour number 2, that's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're rocking with you until noon, then we'll hand it off to D-Lo and KC. That was fun talking to Mark Kotze. We didn't get to talk to him at the Sawyer.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, he stiffed us. Pause.
Yeah, there was there was just too much going on.
There was a lot happening.
Yeah, there was like,
and also, can I give it a stack real quick on that?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be super pushy about it because we weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
We were just chit-chatting. Like, didn't record anything, just off the record talks. So the guys kind of knew who we were. And so I didn't want to be like, yeah, hey, Mark, can you stop doing that television interview where these people are going to use this on the 11 o'clock news? And can you just come shoot the S with us for a little bit?
Yeah, but I'll tell you, like, the 20 or 30 seconds of television time that interview might have gotten
Sure.
doesn't have nearly the value of like the 5 or 6 minute or 8 minute like conversations off the record.
I'm not trying to have a contest. I'm just saying I wasn't going to go be pushy about it when they were like, what are you guys doing here anyway?
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. But I mean, I think like a lot of times, like building relationships is much easier with the mics off and just
1000%.
like, hey, we're going to have a conversation with you. So you feel more comfortable with us when you do come on the radio with us.
That was literally why, because I told you, I was like, I'm going to hold my phone just so it looks like we're doing something. And then as soon as we started talking, Lawrence Butler was just looking at my phone.
Oh, no, just
and so I went, okay, we're done. We don't need this.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Anyways.
Yeah.
All right. NBA. The Kings got a little bit of help last night.
Just a little
from
bit.
the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh.
The Suns are toast, bro. I've been trying to get there. No, they're actually not. First of all, they definitely hate each other. I have never seen a team that looked more disinterested in playing with each other than the Suns last night at home against the Pelicans. In a game like they need. That's the thing is we talk about the Kings and urgency and they need this. Like we have that talk. The Suns are now 3 games behind the Kings.
That's wild.
And they're just tricking games against the Pelicans.
And I think the other thing I'd point out is that the Suns, they've had like very few injuries this season. Like we're used to them being like an injury-prone group, but like Devin Booker's played 52 games. Where are they at? They're at 58. 58. They're 27 and 31, right?
Basketball Reference is not updated yet.
Oh, it's not updated.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way this morning.
Oh, yeah, wow. That's wild. Why is that not updated? Okay. But either way, so let's say Devin Booker's played 53 games. Durant's played 45, Beal's played 41, Tyus Jones 57, Royce O'Neal 52. Like they haven't had like catastrophic injuries that would like set you way back. For the most part, they've been reasonably healthy.
Yeah.
And to see them be where they are in the standings, it's crazy because they do have super high end talent. And the Bradley Beal situation, first of all, he has a no trade clause, so they can't trade him without his approval. And it sounds like he's not given approval to get traded to multiple spots already. And like he's just not popular there. So
everyone hates him, and he's like, "No, I'll stay."
He's not popular at all. Like, but he's like, "Hey, I'd rather be here because I can go golf. The weather's better.
Yeah.
I don't want to go." You know, like, all right, man. Just tough.
The Cheers song. Sometimes you want to go where everybody hates your guts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what Brad Beal's doing. It's like they told him, "Hey, you should probably leave the party. It's a little weird." And he's going like, "No, I'm having a good time. I'll hang out." Like, no, dog. Take a hit.
You're just like everyone's cleaning up and he's still standing there hanging out, having another. Like, hey, the party's over. Yeah. No, I'm still good. I got another drink.
There's no chance KD's on the Suns next year, right?
I don't think so.
I'd be stunned.
I don't think so. I mean, I get his want to not get traded midseason, and he said that's why he turned down. That's what he said. Why he turned down the Warriors trade.
It didn't make sense.
But like when you do that, you really do put the organization number one, but also like the value of what anyone's going to get for you. Like it could get a little ugly there. And like your destinations as a player just dried up. Like the Warriors went out and got Jimmy Butler instead. They don't have a way to go get, at least not that I can see, to go get a player like KD and add him to the mix. Yeah. And even a team like the Kings, I know people think this sounds crazy. The Kings were in, like they made phone calls. There were conversations from what I've heard with the Suns about KD. They went out and got Zach LaVine. Like there's, but that's the problem though. Like unless you're going to trade Zach LaVine to Phoenix like this summer, I don't know that you're going to have some sort of option to go get a KD. And that certainly wouldn't save any money, like not a lot of money for Phoenix.
So, there's this section of Kings fans
Mhm.
that wants to blow it up. Like Kenny was talking about this the other day, how there's people who are like, tear it down to the studs, blow it up, rebuild. I think the Suns are where those people think the Kings are. Like the Kings are certainly in a better place than Phoenix right now.
Mhm.
Phoenix is in the spot where it's like, dude, do whatever you can to start blowing this up, gathering assets, and figuring out your next 5 years. Or at least what path you're going to take for the next 5 years, because this isn't it. I don't think the Kings today, right now on February 28th, are at that point, because we're still talking about like, man, you win 6 out of 7, you could be in the 6th seed.
Yeah, I think the problem is it doesn't matter what fans want when it comes to the Kings. They're not going to do it. Like, so I tried to live in a world of reality when it comes to this stuff, right?
Okay.
Like, and I know a lot of fans are like, hey, what can you get for this player? What can you get for this player? I would trade everybody, all that stuff, right? That's not the world in which I live in, because I know that the Kings don't want to take that step back. They want to climb and not go all the way back to the beginning again.
Mhm.
And it's partially because they've jacked ticket prices so high that they can't go back.
Mhm.
Like if you're gonna be a 20-win team, that number one, it'd be very difficult because of the contracts you already have.
Mhm.
But also, you can't charge those same prices. You'll have 7,000, 8,000 fans in the building.
Mhm.
I've been through those days with the Sacramento Kings.
Nobody there.
Yeah, so that's going to be really, really difficult. When it comes to Phoenix, like not only are they up against a cap and like are they not winning and all this stuff, they also gave up all of their draft capital to go do this.
That's it. They have nothing.
Yes, it's very difficult to see a light at the end of the tunnel. And that's why you might be able to get Kevin Durant for, it's probably still going to cost you 3 first-round picks or 2 first-round picks.
Mhm.
But as long as you have reasonably close to matching salary, you can probably get him out of there. It's just that, like, it's not a great situation. And like, again, fans can want whatever they want about like blowing it up and like,
yeah, it's just a discussion.
What it might look
just having
like.
a conversation.
No, I totally get that.
Mhm.
I would just like the Kings aren't going to do it.
Sure.
And so that's where I always kind of like steer the conversation.
Well, I think the Suns should.
No, I think the Suns should.
And
hey, look,
doing whatever they can.
It doesn't mean
tear
I
it down
don't
to the
think
studs.
I don't think that the Kings are on the right path. I like what
Sure.
they're doing right now. This isn't sustainable either. This is just a long
No
play
doubt,
of
but-
what's happening in
right,
Phoenix.
No doubt. But what I'm saying is that the Kings are in a spot where I think you might have to move DeMar DeRozan.
Mhm.
You might have to move Zach LaVine. I don't know. I'm just those are things you might have to do, but you can. I think the Kings are like some tweaks away, and maybe it's a significant tweak or two, but Domantas Sabonis, Malik Monk, Keegan Murray with additional pieces around it. Okay, maybe you start to see the vision a little bit differently.
Mhm.
Whereas the Suns don't have that opportunity. I don't think there's like small tweaks. They signed Grayson Allen after he had his huge deal, he signed him to a new deal after he had his huge year. At the trade deadline, they held on to KD. They got Nick Richards in there and they got rid of Yusuf Nurkic. It's just like, okay. Like this is what they are.
Mhm.
And for them to take steps forward, they have to take steps backwards, like significant steps backwards, I think. Whereas I think for the Kings to go forward, I don't think they have to first take those significant steps backwards. In my mind. Yeah,
I mean, I think some of the ideas with the Kings, it's that some of their contracts are short term. Like, right, the DeMar DeRozan thing. Like, you have him under contract next year at like $24.5 million, and then you have a team option at $10 million to buy him out for the next year. Like, or you can keep him around at $25.5 million, whatever. Like, I think that's one move that's like very short term. The Zach LaVine, he's under contract for 2 years. Domas is under contract for a bunch of years. You got 3 years for Malik Monk. So I definitely can see a path where this thing, the Kings can move pieces and look different. But I also know that like there comes a point where you kind of cap who you can be, and the Kings have got really close to that with this group of players, this specific group. And you took a step back, maybe not in talent, but certainly in age
Mhm.
when you did the De'Aaron Fox for Zach LaVine swap.
Mhm.
And so like, yeah, it's not going to be easy to get to rebuild this thing like on the fly to be a winner, but I would rather probably be in the Kings situation with, again, we get to July 1st, the Kings will have 9 first-round picks to deal with,
Mhm.
including multiples in 27 and 31, which give them the ability to trade not only multiple years, but like back-to-back years because you
Mhm.
have extra picks. So like they could go out and make a move that would be
Mhm.
substantial. Maybe it's not, Kevin Durant,
Sure.
but there's a possibility that you can get younger, you can get better at a
Mhm.
position, just because some other team might be looking at like expiring
Yeah.
contracts or things that you have on your books.
What if Zach LaVine goes and is healthy this year and continues cooking and has this great year? Maybe there's value for him in the offseason. I don't know if
Maybe.
the Kings would want to give him up, but
Yeah.
anyways, I'd way rather be where the Kings are than where the Suns are. That was the point. Charlotte couldn't hang on to beat Dallas. Kings needed Dallas to lose last night. The Mavericks win 103-96. Really tight game down the stretch, but eventually Dallas pulled away. Damian the other day made the case on his show that Kyrie Irving is the most underrated player in the NBA. And when I heard this, my initial knee-jerk reaction was a scoff, and I'm like, no chance. Everybody loves Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
But to his point, I don't think if we're listing the best players in the NBA, I think wherever Kyrie would go off the board in that just list, I think is probably too low. And you saw it again last night, 25 points, 9 boards, just kind of dragged them across the finish line against Charlotte. And they won largely because of Kyrie. And I have a belief that the Mavericks can stay in the play-in largely because of Kyrie.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's also because the Suns are the Suns. That's gonna help. That's gonna help Dallas.
That's a good point.
But the play-in chase for Dallas, I think Dallas is the easiest mark for the Kings to not be the 10th seed. Clearly, I mean, I think they can jump that team. I think there's possibility for Minnesota.
Mhm.
There's possibility for the Clippers. There's possibility that the Warriors just come back down to earth.
No doubt.
Right? But I don't know that I fully agree with Kyrie being the most underrated player.
Yeah, it's always subjective, right?
It
like,
is.
There's not. It totally depends. There's somebody out there who thinks Kyrie Irving's the best player in the sport, in which case Kyrie Irving to that person, or in that person, in their estimate, Kyrie Irving's overrated. But I think I know for me personally, I just don't consider Kyrie when I think of like best guards in the sport.
No.
And I look at Dallas and I'm like, yeah, they're just kind of in shambles. But it might not matter because Kyrie is awesome. So I get the point. I hate the take way less now than when I first heard it. I don't even know who I would pick as the most underrated player.
I was part of the discussion later in that day.
Sure.
And I know it sounds really weird, but I still believe that Nikola Jokic is probably one of the most underrated players. I don't care about the MVPs.
The unanimous best player in the league?
I would just say this. Like, he might be unanimous best player in the league with like people that are like covering the sport and stuff, but I don't think like league wide fan wise he's considered that. And this was a point that I made with these guys. Like, where do you put him in the hierarchy of all-time greats in the NBA? You probably like right off the top of your head, you're not even thinking top 50.
Really? Oh,
well, I think a lot of people.
You're probably right. I went top 20 in my brain, but I believe you're probably right.
Okay, but what if I told you like, statistically, and the fact that he's got 3 MVPs probably puts him more like top 15, maybe even top 10.
He might, if they win a title this year, he might be top 10.
Yeah, I think he is as well, but the problem is like he's never getting the notoriety that, because a lot of people, he just doesn't love the sport. It's like, he doesn't love the sport. Well, whatever he doesn't love about the sport, he's going out there and dominating it in a way that
loves the sport,
that no one has dominated since like
very clearly loves basketball.
Yes, I totally agree. Like, I don't get why people think, just because he has other interests.
Sure.
Outside of the sport of basketball, but that doesn't mean he doesn't love the sport.
Do you find yourself pulling for the Mavs at all? Like, or are you rooting against them? Or do you not care?
I wouldn't say I would say if anything, there might be a little bit of like, man, you got to pull for him a little bit. And it's not because, I mean, sure, the Luka thing, but also like as somebody who watched it happen, the Malik Monk, Daniel Gafford thing, because they would be a different team right now, even with Daniel Gafford on the roster, and Daniel Gafford's out like 6 weeks,
Oh,
4 to
sure,
6.
yeah.
And that was an inadvertent play.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
it certainly, and it wasn't even like, well, I guess no, I don't feel bad for the Mavs because to be honest with you, I thought Luka intentionally fell on Malik Monk last year at the end of the season and injured Malik Monk.
Okay.
And so maybe you don't feel bad for him, but at the same time, that's a team that, one of your players inadvertently hurt somebody else. And
I haven't decided if I am trying. I feel so bad for Mavs fans. Seeing the way they've reacted to this and just had the rug pulled out from under them, I feel genuinely bad for a Mavs fan. But at the same time, I would like to see Nico Harrison's move crash and burn. I'm in a weird place with the Mavs right now. But as long as they're losing and it's helping the Kings, then I guess I'll pull for them to lose.
Okay.
But I feel really bad for their fans. They're in a bad place.
I think they're in a really bad place. And, even if you look at the way that they didn't get very much for Luka, they got a first-round pick. They didn't even get multiple first-round picks.
Right. It's like not only did you gave him away.
You didn't get Dalton Connect, and
God,
your stars now are old and injury prone.
Man,
I mean, between Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving,
bad for those people.
Are there two more injury prone, like star level players than those two? I don't know. Like
Zion, maybe.
Okay, Zion. We'll put him.
But there's
in the
not.
group.
They're on the short list.
Yeah,
sure. Man,
it's tough.
I'm in a weird place with the Mavs. Need them to lose though.
Lose.
The more they lose, the better it is for the Kings. They won last night. The Timberwolves also lost last night. That's good for the Kings. We'll tell you why. We'll also do some scoreboard watching. The handoff coming up in about 20 minutes right here on ESPN 1320, Sacramento's sports leader.
Let me see. Kyrie's 32. Oh yeah, and their other star is Clay,
who
just turned 35. Kyrie's almost 33, and Anthony Davis he'll be 32 in like a week and a half. I know it's funny. I saw Tyrese Halliburton just mention this online, but Tyrese Halliburton is a leap year baby. So I think he's really by actual birthdays, he's only like 6 years old. But happy birthday to Mr. Halliburton, who does not turn 25 tomorrow.
25.
Yeah.
That's my biggest pet peeve. Not pet peeve. It's not my biggest pet peeve. I have so many more pet peeves that are bigger than this. This is a thing that irrationally annoys me. Is the question of, man, if you have a birthday on February 29th, when do you celebrate your birthday? March 1st. It's the day after the 28th. It's not that hard. February 29th, it's only once every 4 years. Yeah, that's the day after February 28th.
Yep.
So every 4 years, you have your birthday, but then the other days, you're just March 1.
Yeah.
Not that difficult.
No, I get it. Yeah. I still think it's funny, like watching like he said he's going to celebrate both days, the 27th and the 1st. I'm like, hey, you do
Love
you.
that for him.
Yeah.
It would suck to be a tattoo artist, man. I have an appointment today, and I hit my guy, and I was like, I'll be there about 2, and he's like, no rush, I got an appointment till 3, blah, blah, blah. He just texted me and said, this guy bailed on me 10 minutes before his appointment.
Oh,
it sucks.
And how long is the?
Let's see. So he just so I'm guessing it was about 11 o'clock. So it's 4 hours.
It was a 4-hour appointment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of money down the drain.
Yes. And there's just nothing you can do about it.
Well, yeah, you
no
can tell the
recourse.
guy that you're not. Well, You can take a deposit.
Yeah, but
No, that's tough.
It's really
And I wouldn't have the guy back.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's like that's a client out the door. Yeah. Not something I would want to have to deal with.
No.
I'm also a terrible artist.
I am a horrible artist.
People who are good at art just blow my mind. Any kind of art, music, drawing, painting, the way artists view the world is just magnificent to me.
Yeah, but you have your own art that you do. You write, you
Sure,
go on the radio.
Sure. And there's,
yeah.
I'm sure there's people who paint who see the way I put together an article or whatever, and they're like, wow, I could never. Like, sure, that's, but the ability to, like, when I tell him this is my idea, just to envision that idea,
Yeah,
is, man.
I struggle to do anything artistic.
Here we go.
Like,
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
James there, Kyle here. Talking a lot of basketball today.
oh, we talked baseball with Mark Kotze.
Oh, that's true. Mark Kotze did join us.
We talked football with Devo.
A good point. I found out yesterday, real quick sidebar. So we were talking about nicknames on, we really enjoy the nickname aspect of the sports reference sites.
Yes.
And the thing that really grinded my gears was the fact that Big Fella is on Joel Embiid's page.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid does not get to own Big Fella.
I agree.
That is just any moderately large living thing could be Big Fella.
Even people that you know in your life that are way bigger than everybody else, that's the big fella.
Yeah. Big dog.
Yeah.
Big fella.
Yeah.
Big cat. Big fella. It's just, that's how it goes, right? Joel Embiid does not get done. So anyways, shout out to my guy, Kyle Brown, who does marketing for the sports reference sites.
And he's in the Kyle.
Yeah, well, we met at the Kyle meetings. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, yo, dog, how does this work? How do nicknames get on to the side? Like, what's the threshold? Here's what he told me. It's a pretty low bar.
Yes.
We just look for a couple sources to confirm it's legit and not some random internet nickname. Sources meaning broadcast articles, popular websites. And then he asked if he said, who are you thinking? And I was like, wait, are you my plug to just get any nickname I want on any player?
Oh, yeah.
Can I just do that? So I told him what the thing was, and he says there's one person who oversees the whole thing, but it's like a group project, and seeing the nickname and then confirming if it's real or not, just me using that nickname for somebody online. So yeah, that's how it happens.
We need to make an entire thing where we say a nickname and either you have to guess the player.
Ooh, okay.
Or whether
a good summer game.
The nickname is true or not.
Oh, I love that idea.
So
we can audit the nicknames.
Yes.
On Basketball Reference.
Yeah.
Good or bad nickname. This one sucks. Get it out of here.
What if I told you there was a player with the nickname Tsunami Poppy?
Oh, bro. That is Kelly Oubre.
That's right.
Tsunami Poppy himself. That one stays. Let's go.
Also, Wave Poppy, which is another, or Shot or K9.
See, Shot? SHOT?
Yeah.
Get it out of here. That's stupid. What was the other one? K9? Gone.
K9 is like...
Wave Tsunami or Wave Poppy?
Yeah.
Get him out of here. He's Tsunami Poppy. He gets one nickname. That's it.
That's what I feel like.
Okay. No, this is a great game. We'll do this summer. We're going to audit all the nicknames on Basketball Reference. So here's the other thing we need to do. We'll take submissions from the chatty house, youtube.com/ESPN1320 or twitch.tv/ESPN1320. You tell us funny nicknames that you want to give to a player, and I will refer to them as that on the radio. James, you can do the same. You can do it on the Kings Beat podcast. You can maybe even do it in the Kings Beat.
We'll
hit Sean Cunningham.
Okay.
We'll say, hey, Sean, make sure to use this on Fox 40. Make sure this gets into the copy on Fox 40. I don't know if it's him or Kirsten or whoever at Fox 40 is doing the script. You make sure to use that. We'll hit Matt George, Locked On Kings podcast. We'll be like, hey, use this nickname. And then we can go to our guy at Sports Reference and be like, look at all the places this nickname is getting used. It needs to be on there. I think this works.
Okay. I'm here for it.
That'll be. We'll hit Kevin John from ABC 7.
Yeah.
ABC 10.
Maybe
7 is the Bay Area.
10. Yeah, Jake Aiden at 13.
Yeah, Jake Aiden, of course. And just we'll be like, hey, look at all this TV copy using this nickname. Look at the kingsbeat.com using this nickname. Look at the insiders look at D'Lo and KC.
We will create nicknames for Basketball Reference.
We'll hit Mark Jones.
Oh, see, yeah.
Mark, we need to use this nickname.
That will legitimize.
All right. I love this.
I like, have you ever come up with a nickname for a player? Like Brian from NBC who came up with the Splash Brothers.
No, I haven't, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'm really jealous of Brian Witt for getting to just claim that.
For just like he does. Like I think he's got it tattooed somewhere. Like
I would too.
The creator of Splash Brothers.
Like I'm jealous. I want part of me wants to be like, that's so dumb that he. But I would have Splash Brothers tattooed across my chest if I came up with that. Like facts. That's just the thing that they're called, and you came up with it.
I know.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
I've never the Stifle Tower, like Rudy Gobert.
An incredible nickname, by the way.
But I also I like the Gobstopper. That's what I call him. The Gobstopper. Gobert, defensive stopper, Gobstopper. Are you kidding me? That's perfect.
Okay. We'll start using that, and then we'll hit Sports Reference. Like, whenever the Kings play the Wolves again, we'll make sure that it gets used.
That's funny.
Then we'll hit Basketball Reference. That's James. I'm Kyle. Jiffy Lube's the sponsor. We're the insiders right here on ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Leader. The Lakers beat the Timberwolves last night. We had some fun with Kenny about this. But the Kings needed the Lakers to win because Minnesota is now just a half game up on the Kings.
They are a full game. They're
full game up.
Well, Basketball Reference hasn't updated, so I don't know.
The Kings are a game back of Minnesota for 8th, a game back of Dallas for 9th. They're 1.5 back of Golden State for 7, and they're 2 back of the Clippers for 6.
Okay, but they're tied in the loss column with Minnesota and Dallas.
Yes,
and only a game behind Golden State in the loss column, and 2 games behind the Clippers in the loss column.
Right. Bunch of stuff from this game. 1, Anthony Edwards got ejected. He got 2 technicals. He now has 16. He's out tonight against Utah. So Minnesota is playing on a back-to-back on the road, and they won't have Anthony Edwards in Utah.
The
Kings need Utah to win. They need Utah to beat the Wolves.
Your underdog lineup, you should probably do McDaniels.
Jaden McDaniels?
Yeah, anytime that Ant-Man is out, he's one of those dudes that, anytime the main scorers are out in Minnesota, it's like he just goes off. You're like, hey, look at that.
Okay.
I didn't know you could do that. It's like 11 points per game to 25. You're like, huh.
I have to build a lineup later.
Yeah.
So I'm very much going to do that. No, man, look, so unless Ant gets one of those texts rescinded, he's going to be out tonight. Threw the ball into the stands as he was leaving the court.
Yeah, he's not getting anything rescinded.
No. He had directed profanity at an official after he thought he got fouled. He was sitting on the ground, said something, got a tee. The second tee, he's tossed. Threw the ball into the stands. They're going to make sure he doesn't play tonight.
Yeah. I mean, the LaMelo tech in Sacramento, to me, was one of the most disrespectful things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that
was crazy.
Walked all the way to the only male official on the court that was 50 feet away and tried to explain to him what happened while holding the ball, then finally gave it back. He didn't get a tech for that, which he should have got a tech, and not just a delay of game. Then they go down, he fouls somebody else, and he just looks over at the female official and just said 3 magic words, and boom, tech. Yeah, there's so.
I think the last 2-minute report, they should tell us the words that were said.
I guess that's.
I want to really get down to the nitty gritty of making sure I dislike the right people.
I think as the pool reporter, I could have at least asked for like, hey, what exactly happened there with LaMelo? Why the tech?
So there was a pool report last night in LA, and they just said that he got a tech for directing profanity toward a game official. And I'm guessing that's the answer you would have gotten to.
Yeah, that's all you get. Yeah. Like, they're not going to tell you the words.
What profanity specifically?
Yeah.
So Ant not playing tonight. That's big for the Kings. They need Minnesota to lose. I think the Lakers are cooking with gas, dude. Their defense continues to look awesome. They have two of the best, maybe the two best wing passers in the sport, just being super creative and awesome. Just throwing out outlet passes to each other that are 84 feet.
Yeah,
they are figuring it out. And if the Lakers are healthy, they're going to be a damn problem, dude.
I agree with you if they're healthy, but that's a big if. And I don't know if they're going to be a problem as in they're going to find a way to, to pass Memphis or Denver, although they're right there. Like, they're not going to catch OKC.
No, but you get them into a playoff series. I'm not going there was a take that they might have gotten worse by losing Anthony Davis.
Defensively, yeah, for sure. I could see that, but
no doubt. And maybe this comes back to bite them in a 7-game series. Maybe they get into a 7-game series in the 4-5 and they're playing. I don't even know who's the 5 right now. Houston. So maybe they play Houston in the first round and Houston just eventually dissects them over 7 games and their defense looks terrible. Maybe that happens. But this idea that LA got significantly worse in some way, like, oh, this is a move for the future. They're worse this year, but man, they're set up now. Like, no, man, I don't think they're worse this year. They are sick offensively, and Luka's not even playing particularly well yet. And defensively, since over the last 10 games, I think they have the second highest defensive rating in the sport. They've been incredible.
Yeah, it's really crazy that they've been able to get better defensively. And it's kind of like every man like stepping up and like, hey, we now have a weakness. We need to help him disguise it. Right?
Yeah.
And I still think you're going to get in trouble in a series, but
sure.
I think the NBA, the last thing they want to see is LA as a 4 seed. I would, if they can get them to the 3 or the 2 or the 3, they'd much prefer that, because I don't think in the second round you want to see OKC versus the Lakers. You want to see that later.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you want to see it later.
No doubt. The other thing that really stuck out to me last night, and this has stuck out all year, but just the more this season goes on, I kept kind of waiting for Minnesota to start gelling. Because remember, this is a team that went to the conference finals last year.
Yeah.
I kept, and Ant has looked like he's taken a step up this year. And I kind of kept waiting for things to lock in for them, and they're going to really, second half of the year, they're going to be really good. It's going the wrong direction. Minnesota might have just torpedoed themselves with the Karl Anthony Towns trade.
Yeah.
They might never recover. And that was not a thing that I didn't think Julius Randle was a very good fit, but I thought they'd still figure it out. I think Chris Finch is a really good coach. Anthony Edwards is one of the bright young stars in the sport. Jaden McDaniels is good. You still got Rudy Gobert there. You brought in Dante DiVincenzo. You got Mike Conley there to kind of be the adult in the room. Okay, I see it. But I don't know that they ever come back from this.
It's going to be one of the more difficult things because, like, for whatever reason, I don't think that there's a huge talent difference between the two, but there is definitely a play style difference between the two. And for you to lose such an important cog overall, like, I didn't think it would, like, I honestly did not think it would work out that well. I don't love Julius Randle as a player. And I've said this, like, a bunch of, like, Kings fans, you say, oh, go trade for Julius Randle. Like, no. Yeah,
no. It's the classic thing. We talk about this with a bunch of players currently on the Kings. The talent is not a question. I have no questions about the level of talent the Kings have. But how do they fit? And that's the Julius Randle problem. Julius Randle's an awesome player. I don't know how he fits with any team. He's a big who has to have the ball in his hands. A really good shot creator, but not a great shooter. Doesn't play a ton of defense. What's he doing for you?
Those are really difficult players to figure out how to fit in.
Yeah.
Like, there's a big difference between Julius Randle scoring 20, and Domantas Sabonis scoring 20.
1,000%.
Sabonis scores 20, and at least 6 of them are on putbacks. Like every single game, and almost everything else is either pick and roll or an occasional 3.
Yep.
And then some free throws,
Yep.
and you get to 20. With Randall, it's dribble, and then
for himself.
Yeah, he's got to create for himself, or he's launching an ill-advised 3. Like there is a lot to his game that just really isn't that appealing. He's he's an inefficient scorer, and to have that as a big is usually difficult.
Yep.
And so yeah, I mean, I would not have made that move at all. But at the same time, you look and you're like, okay, DiVincenzo is a better defender, than what they had before. And of course, DiVincenzo got hurt, and he's going to miss like a bunch of times still. He's got like really bad turf toe. Like I think they might even he might need surgery for turf toe.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's only played 40 games now. He's been out for a while.
Brutal. Yeah, man. I maybe they're the Kevin Durant team next year. Ant gets to play with his idol, Julius Randle, coming off the books.
They made a run.
Did they?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. They made a run at him, right before the deadline. That's a possibility.
That's one way they can recover.
Maybe.
Bringing Kevin Durant, you're going to get the best version of Anthony Edwards.
I would agree, but you're
fit a
looking
lot better than Julius Randle.
Durant is just every single one of these trades, we forget the fact that he's 36, and
going into the final year of his deal, so he's going to want a new contract.
Yeah, and in September, before the season starts, he'll turn 37, and we're talking about a player who's had an Achilles injury and everything else. But
he's still
great.
Awesome. He's averaging 27 a night.
Yep,
26, whatever he's at right now.
Well, that's why they call him the easy money sniper.
That is actually that's his Twitter handle.
Oh, is it? I like Durantula. The Slim Reaper is something that we've heard.
Yep.
Green Room and The Servant. I don't know about those two.
I'm out on both. Eject all those. The other 3 can stay.
Okay.
Easy Money Snipers, fire.
Slim Reaper.
Slim Reaper's a great nickname. Durantula works. I've not heard anybody use that since his rookie year.
It's been a long time.
It didn't stick.
Yeah.
So that one gets punted for me too.
And then of course he has KD.
KD is that's the one.
Yeah.
Is that a nickname though? If it's just your initials?
Well, because everybody calls him that. I don't think just people walk around in the streets.
If we called Joe Brazil JB, is that his nickname?
Yeah.
Is it?
I believe so. I don't know.
All right. Well,
we need nicknames for Joe Brazil, who will be with us starting Monday.
Yeah, he will.
As our
not with us today.
Yeah.
He's going to be with D'Lo and KC. But yeah, starting Monday, it sounds like we've got Joe Brazil.
That's right.
FT. Full time. Let's go. Full time Joe.
Maybe that's what we just call him. FT.
FT?
FT Joe.
FTJ? No, I'm not going to say that. That sounds bad. I feel like that's an abbreviation for something bad.
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
No. Full time Joe. So the Kings go into this weekend. They're in 10th place. 2 back of the Clippers for the number 6 seed. 1.5 games back of Golden State for the 7 seed. 1 back of Minnesota for the 8. And 1 back of Dallas for the 9. And the only one of those 4 teams going the right way is Golden State. The rest of them are at best treading water or going the wrong way. I got to tell you, for as much as we've complained about where the Kings are at, you win, what'd we say? They're 2-1 in those 11. Means they need to go 5-3 to get to 7-4 in those 11 games. They got to go 5-3 in the next 8. If you do that, you're in a really, really good spot to be in the mix for 6 down the stretch.
Yep, I would agree.
Yep. All right. We'll tell you what games we're watching tonight, what games matter for the Kings, and possibly the handoff. TBD on that. He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're the Insiders. We're brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320, and it's Sacramento Sports Center.
I was distracted by
I'll be right back.
This hilarious thing that I'll show Kyle as he walks by. Chris Haynes decided to break something, but it's not really breaking news. It's just news. The Bismack Biombo.
No, I love that.
I do too.
That's news.
I do too. That's hilarious. Chris Haynes, according to Chris Haynes, San Antonio Spurs will sign center Bismack Biombo for the rest of the season following the conclusion of his second 10-day contract, league sources tell Chris Haynes. And then he has a graphic, and it's Bismack Biyombo, and it just says news, Chris Haynes. Not breaking news. It's just not really breaking news. It's just news. It's funny. Oh, I think we have Joe is here in the building. The Toronto Raptors have waived PJ Tucker. That happened during the show today. Malachi Flynn got a 10-day contract by from the Charlotte Hornets. Wow. I missed this whole thing. Weeks ago, Suns coach Mike Budenholzer called a meeting with Devin Booker, imploring he tone it down vocally, leading the star shocked. Inside that meeting, which provides context to Booker's post-game remarks on communicating. Interesting. That's per Chris Haynes. Hmm.
One minute.
Carl.
All right.
1 minute.
God. Jokic's points, rebounds, assist number tonight is 49.5.
Didn't he have a 77 against the Kings?
It was something insane. Him
Uh,
or Giannis that did that. Giannis had a ridiculous number too.
I don't know what exactly Booker's been saying on the court. There is a possibility that Devin Booker has not been saying positive things on the court, and then his communication on the court is negative, and the coach had to step in and say, whoa, let's tone it back. Like screaming, "I hate you, Bradley Beal," in the middle of a game, that might not be appropriate.
10 seconds.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
Kyle here, James there. I'm putting together my underdog lineup for tonight.
All right.
Minnesota, Utah. Here we go. You said Jaden McDaniels. His points number is 18.5.
Oh, see, that's high. And that's what I'm talking about. Like anytime, yeah, that's high.
You don't think Jaden McDaniels can give me 20 with no Ant?
Maybe.
Do we like Jaden McDaniels higher than 18.5 or Naz Reid higher than 19.5? Ooh, I can go Naz Reid higher than 2.5 3-pointers made. That feels like easy money.
Boy.
Ooh, if I go higher on 3.5, I get a 1.19 times multiplier on higher than 3.5 made threes for Naz Reid. And he's probably going to start.
Man, are Jaden McDaniels and Keegan Murray like the Spider-Man meme?
Are they?
Whew.
Please explain.
Both good defenders.
Okay.
Jaden McDaniels right now, 12 points, 5.8 rebounds, 1.8 assists. He's shooting 46.4 from the field and 32.5 from three. That sort of sound like Keegan Murray part two. It does.
And Keegan's way cheaper.
Yeah, so Keegan Murray's averaging 12.2 from points, so 0.2 more. 7 rebounds versus a 5.8, 1.4 assists versus 1.6 assists. He's shooting 33.2 from 3 and 44 from the field. So less from the field for Keegan Murray, slightly higher from 3, but that sort of seemed very similar. Yeah, interesting.
Okay, I've got my underdog lineup for tonight. I'm just going to do it right now. I've got Cam Johnson. And if you would like to play along, download the Underdog app. Underdog Daily Fantasy, it's hella easy.
Yep.
Super easy. You pick higher or lower on at least 2 player stats with their pick'em game, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money just with your basketball takes, or maybe your hockey, baseball, every sport you can think of, all your favorite players, all your favorite leagues. They've got him at Underdog. I'm going Cam Johnson against Portland. I'm going higher than 17.5 points for our guy Cam Johnson. I'm assuming he's playing.
Okay.
I'm going to go higher than 17.5 points. As good as Portland's defense has been over the last few weeks, I think Cam Johnson's going to go higher than 17.5 points. Naz Reid, I'm going higher than 3.5 3-pointers made. I think Naz is going to start tonight. He's going to play against Utah. And no Ant. So those threes are going to go up, and I think Naz is going to take a lot of them.
3.5 is a big number. Like
Yeah,
attempts or makes?
Makes.
Whew. Okay.
Naz Reid, man.
All right.
If he gets up 9 attempts, I really like his chances to make 4 of them, especially against Utah. Not a great defensive team. And then Jaden McDaniels, I'm going lower than 1.5 3-pointers made.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to see a lot of Jaden McDaniels 3-pointers tonight.
All right. Boy, you're out there. You're out there with this one.
Just vibing, dude.
Yeah.
You think Jaden's going to make more than 1 3?
I don't know. I mean, he's going to have opportunities to shoot them.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Oh, Kenny's here.
Kenny's
Hi,
here.
Kenny.
Hey, before
handoff. Go ahead.
Oh, so I didn't log into. What did I log in? I can't remember.
Hey, while he's doing that, I got to do the thing at the end of Underdog.
Oh yeah, my
I
bad.
got to tell everybody. No, I forgot. I would love for you to play along. Maybe you hate my lineup. Maybe you're like James. If you do and you want to fade that, download the Underdog app and sign up now using the promo code Kyle M to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code Kyle M. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. We love Underdog.
Yeah. We also have to do our Jiffy Lube Fast Break Player
Oh,
of the Game
yeah. From yesterday.
We forgot.
Tell the people what we're giving away.
If you go right now to the ESPN1320.com website, click on the Jiffy Lube logo, and we have a code word that will enter you into a drawing to win a $50 gift certificate from Jiffy Lube, as well as the incredible Insiders hoodie that Kyle is wearing right now.
No, this is last year's.
You're wearing last year's?
Yeah, this is last year's.
It'll be a variation of that.
Yeah.
But they are like the nicest hoodies ever. What is our code word today?
Breakout.
Breakout.
In honor of Keegan Murray having a breakout game, scoring 20 points for the first time since November 24th in their game a couple of nights ago. Breakout. BREAKOUT. All one word.
All one word.
Get Kenny Caraway in here. It's time for the handoff.
What's going on, guys?
What's happening?
It's time
This
now
is happening.
for the handoff. Taking the handoff from James and Kyle.
We
today.
made them. We're using them.
Here's KC, Kenny Caraway.
I'm not mad at it. I'm just glad they cleaned up a little bit.
You got the full Kyle Madsen experience last night during a Warriors game, by the way.
Yeah, Kyle.
I want you to know. I want you to know that I started leaning into the bit on
Oh,
purpose.
no, I saw you.
Okay,
I saw you
okay,
working.
okay.
I saw you
All
working.
right.
But the first 3 texts, I think, were legit. They
looked
were really
bad.
how you felt.
The first couple were bad. The first couple were legit.
I said, was it a 25-7 run? Because I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you said
25-7
25-7 runs coming.
It had to be something like that because they were down 17
Yeah,
before
and then
Steph hit the half quarter.
yeah.
And then next thing I know, when you text me again, I wasn't following.
Yeah.
And you text me, I was like, oh, what's the score? And they were like up 10.
They have the most crazy trailing by and then leading by stats I've ever seen this season.
They were down 17 and then we're up 12.
But didn't they have a
And
game?
then held on to win.
I thought they had a game earlier where they're down 30.
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah,
And then they won by
Super
20
Bowl
something.
Saturday before the Super Bowl.
And they was getting beat up.
Yeah, they were down 25 and ended up winning by like 30.
That's ridiculous.
Sure, man, whatever.
You know, I was listening earlier. Shout out to you guys. Insiders,
Thanks,
one
man.
of my favorite shows. You guys were having the under 25 draft.
Yeah.
And
Would you like to make a team out of the remaining players?
I mean, well, I don't know if I'd want to make a team out of them. I thought LaMelo maybe should have got a little more consideration.
Yeah, no doubt.
Nobody mentioned Jalen Green. Like Jalen Green, he might be the most underrated player in the game. Guy's averaging 21 points a game, and people look at him like, oh, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, what, 22 or something like that?
So here's the problem I ran into with this bit is I started trying to build a team instead of just drafting the best players. And so a guy like Jalen Green, I'm going, that's a little repetitive with Ant. Like, I don't really need. So that's why. But no, I tried to make the list. Here's what I just went through East and West and just found kind of the guys I thought would be at least a little bit in consideration because it's a big list of dudes
That's a
here.
good ball player.
So here's some guys like Christian Brown, didn't get taken. Jaden McDaniels, Scoot Henderson, Shaden Sharp, Jonathan Kuminga, Keegan Murray, Jaren Jackson's still 25.
He's about to get a crazy contract.
Yeah, he is.
I think it's like $350 million.
Yeah, he's going to get a super
because he qualifies for everything.
Yes,
well,
because he's going to win. He's
but-
going to win DPOY this year, and he's going to qualify for.
They're going to
Supermax.
give it to him.
He's going to get it.
I'll see it.
Mobley might, if the Cavs continue having just the best defense in the league. He might get it.
I feel, and I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of Jaren Jackson, but I think he's more deserving than Evan Mobley. And Evan Mobley's dope. He's a dope ball player. But Jaren Jackson, like, I don't like watching him, but he is a force as a defender, and he can score.
I hope they give him that contract. I do.
You know who's on this list that I don't think would really get consideration, but he's one of those players that I just like have an aversion to because of Laker fan. Is Max Christie. I think Max Christie can actually play.
He can play.
But he got that 4-year, $32 million deal, and Laker fan was like, "What a steal, Max Christie! He is next." I was like, "Relax." It's like, all right, I get it. Max Christie can hoop a little bit. I like Max Christie.
He can hoop a little bit, but you gave a lot of money to a guy averaging like 3 points a game.
$8 million a year for what he's doing
Isn't
now.
He had like 11 or 12 this year.
Yeah, he's good now.
He's
17 the other
he's
night.
perfectly fine. Yeah, he hit the Kings for.
I'd take
for a bunch
Max
of points.
Christie on the Kings.
Hey, facts.
But you guys did a great job. I had no qualms about it. I was just gonna reiterate.
Sure.
I think Amen is right behind Wemby and Ant.
Really?
Amen.
Do you put him? So remember the bit started because of Paolo. It went Wemby 1, Ant 2, and then Paolo 3.
Yeah, I put him ahead of Paolo.
Put him ahead of Paolo.
He's not better than Paolo today.
Yeah.
But I see it.
Okay.
I see where it
I don't hate that.
I think I put it in the chat when you guys were doing it, but he could be the next Kawhi. That's how I look at him. It depends on how
he's currently taking the leap we kept waiting for Keegan to take.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It depends on how his offensive game progresses.
No doubt.
If he's able to create a little bit more, if he gets that jump shot and the 3-point shot going. So there's still some questions to be answered. But if he improves on just those two things, like really, if he just improves on the 3-point shot next year, and then maybe a little creation after that, because he probably has more creation than we realize. The defense is there.
Yeah.
The athleticism is there.
The desire, and I know that's silly because it's like intangible, but that dude wants to be good.
There was when the De'Aaron Fox stuff was going on and people were in the chat, and I understand, we're just having a good time, but they're like, yeah, De'Aaron Fox, let's go get him in. I said, Amen, like almost tongue in cheek, but almost reality, might be like a top 5 untradeable player in the league right now.
Yeah.
Like
you could ask for him, but you were getting Jabari.
Houston is
exactly.
Houston is insulted if you ask for him.
Yeah.
You could have probably, I mean, there's a possibility you could have got Jalen Green. You could have maybe got Tari Eason, but certainly Cam Whitmore and Jabari. I think you could have got Jabari out of them.
Did I get rid of my rundown already?
Oh, no.
I don't know.
I got to go through scoreboard watching.
Oh.
Where are we at? There it is. Okay.
We actually got we got 2. I think a lot of people thought we would get 1 of the 4 last night. We got 2.
Yeah, you got you got the Pelicans beating the Suns, and you got the Lakers beating Minnesota.
Yeah.
Nearly got 3. The Magic tried to claw their way back into
Nearly
that
got
one.
4.
Steph was sick.
We nearly
was
got 4. I was texting Kyle about that one. I said,
Yeah.
hold on. The
Yeah,
Hornets
3-point
here.
game.
Hornets. And then the Mavs going like a 7-0 run.
Mm.
Yeah, it's tough. Put the game away.
You know,
Tonight,
oh, go ahead. No,
we
I'll
got-
let you finish.
we got Blazers Nets.
Mhm.
Just keeping the Blazers back there.
Yeah. You want
can
them
you
to
have
lose.
them to lose a
Yeah,
couple?
you want them to lose.
Just keep them at arm's length.
You don't ignore them yet.
Pels at Suns. Still got to watch the Suns.
No Zion
Just in case.
game.
The Suns are cooked.
Finished.
They're done. But still, got to keep them back there.
Mhm.
Wolves at Jazz. No Ant for the Wolves tonight.
Mm.
Looks like John Collins playing for the Jazz.
Shout out to my boy Isaiah Collier.
Big
Also-
Isaiah Collier, guys.
It looks like a lot of the Jazz players are questionable, not out. Like
Mm.
Markkanen and Sexton are
Yeah,
both
don't-
questionable.
They don't have them sitting 2 straight games. What are we doing out here?
That'd be crazy. And then need the Clippers to lose.
Well, all right. I don't
You
have
know
any
what that
headphones,
means.
but I know
You know
what the
what that
guys
means.
do.
Okay.
I know
Lake
what
show.
I mean,
That just happened.
look, what have we been doing all week? What are we just
No, we just
hanging
need-
out
we
on
just-
Figueroa right now?
no,
Are
we
we
just need the
taking
Lakers.
pictures at the Chick Hearn statue all week? Is this what we're doing? It's the 3rd time this week we've had to go for the Lakers. What the hell's going on?
It's not good.
Yeah, need the Lakers to beat the Clippers tonight. The Kings.
How many-
Saturday's a big one, man.
How many do you think we get real quick? tonight?
What did I say?
I think you said 4 games. I think we get
I don't think we get the Blazers.
no.
You might get the Pels. Pels might be the
no,
Sunday
they
game.
give us
No?
a 1.
Okay.
And
Okay,
Zion's
very
not
good. That's
playing.
fine. You might just get 1. Might just be Clippers.
Yeah,
Clippers over Lakers.
I'll take it though. I'll take it.
Yeah, me too. All right.
Hmm.
D'Lo and KC coming up next. James and I are done for the week. We will talk to you on Monday at 10 a.m. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. Until Monday at 10, drink water, be nice to people. Woo!